I'll teach you how to make your own mini jar with an inset lid. We'll use Tinkercad online and I'll guide you through the process step by step. Then we'll 3D print it and we'll actually put it to the test to see how the fit and finish turns out. Glad you're here. It's Tinker Time. Tinker Time. So let's get started. We're going to grab the cylinder piece, and the dimensions for this are going to be 75 by 75. Okay, by 75. Nice and easy. We're going to take the sides right here. We'll take that and move it all the way in to 64. And then we're going to take the bevel and move it in to right about there, about 1.2. And segments, we'll take that all the way in. Okay. We're actually going to take our bevel in just a little bit more here. We'll take that up closer to 1.5. Awesome. That looks good. Next, we're going to take this object and we'll make a duplicate of this so we can use that here in just a little bit. All right. And now we'll take this piece again and we'll make another duplicate. Then we'll take the dimensions down 60. We're going to make sure that the walls are thick enough here. So we'll go and make that 60. Okay. And we'll go ahead and align these pieces. Okay, hit the alignment key, make sure that you align that. Okay, now that it's perfectly centered. Okay, and we want to make sure that this center piece here comes up from the bottom. As you can see now, it's flush with the bottom, it's going all the way down. We want to bring this up by 5 millimeters. So we can go down to our snap grid and we can change this to 5 millimeters. Okay, then we'll select just the cutout piece, hold the control key, arrow up once. And then that will effectively give us the amount of distance that we'll need. And we can make that a hole so we can take a look so you can see the sides and how that looks. Okay, so this will represent the interior portion of this jar. Okay, so we'll take this and we'll turn it back into a solid. Okay, and at this point we're going to combine these. Okay. And then this will give us the interior portion of our jar. You can see it's nice and rounded down there. All right. Okay. And then next we're going to need to, now we'll need to make a cutaway portion for the extra one that we made here earlier in our copy. We're going to slice this away and we're going to make the lid out of this piece. So to do that, first we'll take a cylindrical piece, right? And we'll go ahead and make this 80 by 80. Okay. All right. And again, sides all the way up. Okay. And then we'll take another piece and this will be the cutaway portion. Okay. And we'll make this 65. Okay. By 65. All right. We'll take the sides on that one again, like that. We are going to align these two, make sure that they're perfectly centered. Okay. Then we're going to combine them. Okay. Okay. Now we'll take this piece and we'll turn it into a hole. Okay. And we will align these two objects. Okay. There we are. Now we're going to take this whole piece and we're going to move it all the way up. Just like that. Okay. And then we'll take this and then we will combine it. Okay. Now we will make this 10 millimeters. We want this lid to be 10 millimeters thick. So we'll take another hole cutout piece. Take that. Okay. Now we know that this piece right here is 75. So we'll take this cutout piece up to 65. And I would recommend going back down to your snap grid here and changing this back to 0.1 millimeters. That way you have finer control over the movements of the different objects. But now that we know that we're going to be chopping away all but 10 millimeters of this, we'll take that, we'll combine them. Okay. Now we have our lid. Now what we're going to do is we will duplicate the lid, hit Control D, and we'll move that off to the side for a second. Okay. Now we're going to take these objects and we are going to align them here, here. Okay. Now we'll make this a hole. Okay. All right. Now we are going to use this to just cut it away. Okay, we're going to combine these objects. There we go. Now this piece here will serve as our lid when we go to put it on there. But it can't be the same size as the piece we just used to cut this away with because it won't fit. The perfect fit would be if we change this piece here from 6501, we'll change this down to 64.8. Okay, 64.8 will give us the perfect ratio size when we go to put it into this unit here and use it as a lid. Okay, next we're going to grab the ruler. We'll set it out to the side and we have the top piece selected. As we can see that it's pretty far off the ground, 65 millimeters. We'll make that 0. So we put it down onto the work plane. This will make it easier for what we're going to do in a second. Now we need to make the top handle piece that screws into the top lid. So we're going to go over to Thingiverse and grab an object, and I'll show you what that looks like. We're going to use it in our project here. This is the knurling bolt and nut. This is what we're going to use to import to our project. So what you want to do is download, go to Files, download the knurling nut, and then the knurling bolt, just the first one. Both of these will be perfect to what we're going to use them for. So go ahead and download those and then head on back over to the work plane in Tinkercad. Now that we're back in Tinkercad, go to Import, find the files that you just downloaded, and import them into Tinkercad. Okay, now that we have these objects imported into Tinkercad, what we're going to do is modify them so that we can use them in our project. So we know that our lid is only 10 millimeters tall. So what we want to do is make this also 10 millimeters tall. So the first step is to take a subtraction block here, make that a little bit bigger, okay? And then we're going to go up from the bottom here. We're going to go up 10 millimeters. Type in 10 there, and we got that. All right. And now we want to also make sure that the thread of the bolt that we're going to use is also 10 millimeters. So we'll take another block, make that big enough here. Now you can select the subtraction box here and hit the cruise tool and take that, and we'll put it directly on top of this bolt so that we know it's perfectly on top of the bolt. Now we're going to hit the control key and we're going to arrow down 10 millimeters. So we'll hit it once, twice. I changed this here to 5 millimeters on the snap grid, and then I down arrowed twice. So now we know that we're taking 10 millimeters out of this object right here. So we'll combine these two objects. Combine. Okay. And we will also combine these two objects. Awesome. Okay. The next step is we need to put a hole in this top lid here to make an area for this opening so that way we can screw this part in later. So grab a subtraction cylinder here and we'll take the sides in all the way to make sure that it's smooth. And now we can see here that this would actually probably be great for size wise. If we look at these, we'll combine these two parts right here and take a look. So if my cutaway is this big, that means all the threads would be covered in there. So I think this will work. So standard 20 millimeters. That's how big this one is, 20 by 20. Okay. So we'll take this and we'll align these two pieces. Okay, get those aligned. All right. Now we will subtract that little piece out of the center. Okay, now we'll bring this one over and we will align these parts so that way that will be perfectly centered. Okay. As we can see, if we combine these now, we will have a threaded hole in the top part of our lid. Okay. So you can imagine once this is finished printing, then you'll have this top piece that screws into that, and that'll serve as the handle for the lid. And then the lid will go into here perfectly. And since this is a cutout, this lid part is a cutout from this original shape, once that goes in, it will be flush with the top. So the next step is to send it off to the 3D printer and see how it prints. Only a couple of steps for the final assembly of the jar lid. We'll put this together here and it just screws right in. I printed it in PLA with 50% infill at 0.2 resolution. The overall fit and finish is pretty good. If this tutorial helped you out today, please like and subscribe to support this channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Tinker Time.